People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about theft in retail, but it's real. It's happening far more than retailers think it's happening, particularly local small business retailers. It's happening in the form of stock being taken. It's, $5 here, $20 there. It's time theft. Theft occurs in many, many different ways in retail. Cash theft is, well, look, some would say rampant. I wouldn't necessarily say it's rampant, but it certainly feels like it's on the increase based on what we're seeing when retailers are calling and asking for help in identifying who might be stealing from them. It's one of the things our point of sale software can do. It can help people identify through data patterns when they're being stolen from. And if they can see when they're being stolen from and marry that with a roster, you can be successful at identifying the person who's stealing from the business. This is about $1,000 in $50 notes. And pretty easy to get this out of a business that's turning over, say, two, three, four, $5,000 a day. Because sometimes businesses and business owners are lazy with their rules. Because they want it to be easy to use their software, they may not have guardrails in place. And, look, there's an argument to make for that being the case. Because if you don't have too many guardrails in place, it comes down to the honesty of the individuals, but it also allows you to use the software to catch them. If you have a lot of guardrails in place, then it's harder for people to steal, and that may lead them to become more sophisticated in how they steal from you. I'm not a retail theft expert, but for decades I've worked with retailers on identifying theft. I've helped with police investigations, and I've provided evidence to, insurance companies and others who are engaged in this space. What I will say is this: retail theft is always more than you think it is, costing you more than you think it is. It's happening more often than you think it is. And the larger proportion of cost of retail theft is the theft by employees. And I know that's something we don't want to hear. You know, retailer, myself included, back when I was a retailer, we just don't want to know. We don't want to know that we're being stolen from, because if we can't see it and we don't know about it, we're not going to worry about it. The thing is, you'll worry about it when it affects your business. I know a retailer where they lost their business based on the extent of theft that was occurring in their shop. They had a staff member who was stealing, roughly $1,000 on a weekly basis over 3 years. That's a significant cost to a small business. Why didn't they catch it? Because they didn't, well, I would say they didn't want to know. Um, I would say that they uh, were ignorant of tools available to easily identify theft. Yeah, in our point of sale software, we have a tab that says, hey, this may be evidence of theft, because we're gathering the data and we're curating it and making sure that that data that's on the screen is questionable. Not the data itself's not questionable. The actions the data is representing are questionable, because people who staff who are stealing from the business, a certain number of them will do it in a predictable way. And so we track for that. But there are other ways to track theft as well. Your P&L is going to give you a good indication when you see the overall business gross profit performance. That's going to tell you whether you have a problem. Your stock count, when you do a stock take, you're going to see if there's an issue with people who are taking stock off the shelves and going and selling it at a local market or to mates or somewhere else like that. The thing about theft is it's always been there. It's always going to be there. And in local small business retail, if you have a relaxed approach to business where theft isn't treated as a serious thing, then it's possible that you'll never catch it. My advice to retailers is that they should have a theft policy. And that sounds a bit silly, but here is our policy, our position in relation to theft in this business. Print that out, put it on the wall in the back office or somewhere where everybody can see it. They can see this is our black and white position on theft. And then the second thing I would do is make sure that you, as the business owner, know how to track theft in your business yourself without asking someone else to do it for you, without relying on an accountant every, 6 months or 12 months to raise a red flag. You need to be able to go to the software, use the theft checking tools to see if theft may be an issue within your business. And then the third thing that I would do is I would talk to staff members about theft. Make sure that people understand the implications for the business if there is theft and the consequences, not in a threatening way, but more as a matter of, hey, this is how we like to deal with this within the shop. And hey, pro tip, when you're hiring staff, ask them if they would agree to a police check. Because I've seen situations where people have been asked if they'll agree and miraculously they withdraw their application because they've found a job somewhere else. You certainly want to be in that situation. I'd certainly be asking for a police check. Theft in retail is real. We can't get away from it. It has a real cost to the business, and it is something that retailers can fight against by using their point of sale software to see if it's a problem, gather the evidence, understand the quantum if there is a problem there, and that helps you decide on the best course of action. Police or whatever it is you think is right for you. I, have an opinion about whether you should use police or not, but really that choice is completely yours for all sorts of personal reasons that you would need to consider. The critical thing is you can't consider that unless you understand if there's a problem. And understanding if there's a problem relies on you using your point of sale software properly. So while we're going to read about theft in retail and see it on the news and hear it on the news and all that sort of stuff, the thing is, my comment to you is, what are you doing about it in your shop? Do you have a strategy? Do you have a theft policy? Here at Tower Systems, we can give you resources that help you prepare for that. Just let us know. We want to do anything possible to help retailers reduce the cost of theft in their business. And that's why our point of sale software has got awesome tools for tracking and identifying potential theft situations and helping you gather the evidence necessary that police and prosecutors will look for. Don't let theft be a problem in your shop. Make sure you understand the tools at your disposal and use them to see if theft is a problem. Thanks for watching.